All right, so a California man who has spent the past 4 decades behind bars for kidnapping 26 children and burying them alive was denied parole this week. On tomorrow night's 48 Hours, CBS This Morning lead national correspondent David Begnaud takes a look at the case against Fred Woods.
It was the summer of 1976 when this bus pulled into the small town of Chowchilla, California. Inside the bus were 26 traumatized children. Outside were their frantic parents. These children had been through an unimaginable ordeal, kidnapped and buried alive in an old moving truck that had been hidden beneath a rock quarry. 6-year-old Larry Park was one of those kids.
This man carried me off the bus and he put me in my mom's arms. I felt like I was finally safe.
14-year-old Michael Marshall and the bus driver piled up mattresses that were in the hole, and after 16 hours in darkness, they managed to dig their way to safety.
I'm giving it everything I got, and all the kids are cheering me on, you know. Come on, Mike, you can do it, you can do it.
Police immediately zeroed in on 24-year-old Fred Woods. He was the son of the man who owned the rock quarry, and two of Fred Woods' friends, James and Richard Schoenfeld. Jill Klinge is an assistant district attorney in Alameda County.
Fred Woods had keys to that quarry.
Investigators executed a warrant to search Fred Woods' father's estate, and they found a treasure trove of evidence there, now shared with 48 Hours.
This crime was planned out for a year and a half in intricate detail. You actually have a document labeled Plan, and it sets out the way they were going to commit the kidnapping.
They also recovered a draft of a ransom note.
They were going to ask for $5 million from the state of California.
But the kidnappers were never able to deliver their demand.
When they tried to call the Chowchilla Police Department, because of the number of calls that were coming in worldwide, the phone lines were jammed. They couldn't get through, so they took a nap. And by the time they woke up, they saw on the news that the kids had been found. So they were never able to request their ransom.
With the overwhelming evidence against them, the 3 men were arrested. All came from well-off families who lived in some of San Francisco's nicest suburbs.
They're young, they're white, they're wealthy. I think it added a component of fascination to the story because it was so unlikely that 3 men such as these would commit such an atrocious crime.
So David is joining me now. So David, I have to admit, when I first heard that you were doing this, I had never heard of this case, and I'm sort of a true crime junkie. I can't believe it sort of flew under the radar.
Me neither. I knew nothing about it. And it's interesting, as we've started to promote it, viewers have weighed in and said, oh, I remember it, I was 9, and oh yeah, I was 11.
Wow.
So I think depending on how old you are, it does matter. But because, listen, Cronkite covered it. It led the CBS Evening News for days on end.
It was a big story.
The country was gripped by it. Yeah.
Interesting. So we heard that these men were pretty well off. And unlikely suspects. Why on earth would they try to pull something like this off?
So that's what's interesting. And I want to get the quote so I get it right here. This is what they said. We needed multiple victims to get multiple millions, and we picked children because they're precious. They came from well-off families, but apparently their rationale was we were not well off, we were in debt, so we thought this was a good idea.
Okay, so we're hearing about this one man, Fred Woods, but what about the other suspects? Where are they now?
So they're out of jail, right?
Really?
They're out of prison. They got out, served their time, did good behavior, and were paroled. This Fred Woods guy was just recently denied parole.
Why?
The 17th time he's been denied
Was he
parole.
sort of the linchpin? He's the guy behind the whole thing?
Alleged mastermind, but get this. He's been running a business, a Christmas tree farm from prison. Now, here's what's even more interesting. It's not illegal to do it. You just have to get permission, and he hasn't. Listen, the guy got caught with cell phones and pornography. The bottom line is he hasn't been following the rules. And in prison, you got to follow the rules, and he's not.
I just cannot believe sort of how vast this crime was, the attempt to kidnap so many children at the same time that anyone would sort of have the moxie to try and pull it off. It's a lucky thing that they took a nap.
So in the hour, you're going to also hear the bravery and the courage that came with those kids and that bus driver as they piled up the mattresses over time to start digging out of the hole. And you'll also get a sense of just how traumatizing this was. Look, nobody was killed, nobody was sexually assaulted, and so you think maybe, okay, so then why would they sort of be traumatized?
Yeah.
For decades, these people have tried to get their lives back on track because of what happened to them when they were kindergartners, right? 5 years old.
Yeah, some things you never forget. David, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So you can see David's 48 Hours report, Live to Tell, the Chowchilla kidnapping. That's going to happen on Saturday at 10, 9 Central on CBS.